Hey guys, and welcome back to the HobbyDude 007 channel. Hey, it's Mustang update time. Our NASCAR late model sportsman Mustang from the 70s is back at it again. Been working on it on and off for the last few months. Engine, a little bit of chassis stuff, and I've done some older videos, but I want to bring you up to date on some of the chassis stuff. So let me share it with you. Bring your model to life with MCV products. Visit them on the World Wide Web at mcvproducts.net. Okay guys, since the last video, you know we got a lot of that rear section of the chassis done. Now this is not the chassis we're going to be using. This is a glue bomb that I picked up at a swap meet somewhere, and as you can see it's a glue bomb, but it's perfect for what I want to use it for, and that is to do the mock-up for the fit of the chassis to body. So I'm going to be working, now that we've got this section pretty much finished, we're going to be moving from right here at the rear tires forward. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just take this body and test fit it, and as you see, everything looks pretty good. It's a nice fit. But what I did learn in doing this is, you see these bars up here, which was very much like the configuration that we ran on this car. There was a few of these bars in the forward section that weren't there, so we're going to be removing those. But because of that droop, if you remember how we drooped that, both the hood and the nose, if we sit this down and we set that on there, you'll see that the hood is a little bit high and we need it to sit even down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get my pointer here. We're going to take right at this bar, right here, this vertical bar, and we're going to droop that down just slightly, and that means we're going to have to remove these bars which weren't there on our car anyway. But let me take this back off a minute. But right here, we'll be drooping that down just a little bit, so we'll be removing all those forward bars there, and then I'll reinforce them up here like we had them. But this is close enough to the configuration. That's another thing, guys. I could scratch build all of this stuff, and I do that a lot like we did on the tail end. However, don't reinvent the wheel if what you've got is going to be close enough. There will be a couple of extra bars here that we're going to add that will be like the real car. But we're just going to redo that a little bit. And the other thing I want to, that way it'll allow that hood, when this is drooped over a little bit, starting there, it'll allow that hood to have a good fit. Chances are this is going to be a wheels off build, and you're not going to see that anyway, but we'll see. Also, notice these bars right here should run right beside the A-pillar, and you see how far inboard they are on both sides. And we can't have that, so all of this is going to have to be redone. Now, stance wise, I am going to bring this down, this upper portion of the roll bars, I am going to drop it about maybe one to two scale inches, so the car will sit a little bit lower. So that should bring the body right into that, right about there, I think. Because it does sit a little bit high. But of course, I have not removed this piece here yet either, because I'm scratch building something that will go there. And I'll be sharing that with you too. So we're going to have to redo this, and how we're going to do that is we'll take on these roll bars and we'll cut them off right about here, right where they start to go inward. You could, honestly guys, you could heat these and bend them up, but they need to be a good flush fit. So we're gonna, so they're a good flush fit right in here, just inside. We're gonna scratch build and cut these off right about here. And you notice how the bars are curved outward, and this one where the safety net is just a straight bar. Actually, that needs to come out and back in, so we'll make another one of these bars to replace right there, and then this upper hoop will be scratch built out of our evergreen and plaster. Now the other side, you notice it's lower. It does not have this upper bar, so we're going to have to add that, and at the same time, just right where this bend is here, we're going to cut this off here and here, and then we'll add one more bar here so it comes up to the door. I'm not sure you can see it, but it really, yeah, there you go. You can see how low that is if you don't have that there, and that needs to come right on up there, right up to just below that top of the door frame there. So we're going to need to add that on both sides, and I'll show you the safety net I'm going to use for it. It's one that's out of production now, but it's really a cool one too. And we're going to be removing this back crossbar, the headrest area, because as you recall, the seat that we're going to use that like Lonnie had is like this. It had the right side brace to keep you in place, and the left side there wasn't anything. This is a modified AMT, and we'll be getting some color on this here shortly too. And the other thing you always want to try to do is make sure that when you level that with the floor, it is not too right there. So as you see, it's the perfect height, and you're not going to need that headrest back there. So, and Lonnie in the Camaro and in the Mustang always drove these high seats. So there you go. So that's going to be spot on there. Even with dropping the height to that a little bit, it's still, again, you can see there is plenty of room there. And let's see, is there anything else there? I don't think so. Firewall wise, as you see on this one, you've got the sump tank and stuff like that were back here, and you got the master cylinder. Well, this is not like ours at all, and where they ran the 1A headers like we did on our Camaros, where they came up over the engine and back down and dumped out back here. This car did not have that, so this is going to be heavily modified. I could just take a sheet plastic to this exact size, add a roll bar across it, but I want to modify this one, and I'll show you why as we get into it. It really looks pretty good, and as you see, this this panel here is a really good fit right there. Now we may have to add a little to it, but overall that's a really good fit, and once that window's there, you're not going to see that slight gap, I don't think. But we're going to test fit as always, test fit to make sure. So this we're going to go ahead and get modified. I'm going to go ahead and cut some of these sections off of here that we're going to be needing to do, and we'll come back, show you where we are. Okay guys, so we've got our modifications made to the roll cage, and you know, even though you're not going to be using some of this stuff once you clip it off, do not throw it away, and I'm going to show you why. As you recall, we're going to be scratch building the roll bars to fit just inside the A-pillar and back, just as it would be in the real car. And if you recall, that big gap between the our chassis, the stock chassis, and this. But the reason you don't want to throw these away is, check this out. Even though it wasn't made for this car, I can line that up with the, right about there, with that A-pillar. And as you see, oops, right there, it hugs that A-pillar and is just on the inside. Now, this vertical bar back here at the door, as you see where the door jamb is, that needs to come back just a little bit more, and we'll be making our modification there too. So don't ever throw these away, because when we bend our tube that we're going to be using to replace this, this is going to be a great outline for it, because it does fit that. Sometimes it doesn't line up, and if it don't, that's no big deal. You can just use the body itself to do that. Now, we had also mentioned the roll bars itself, and remember we added this row right here up when we cut it off on both sides. Well, looking down the front, I did not measure the driver's side, and if we look straight down the front, you see how this is pretty flat right across there. But moving over to the driver's side, where that bar was, this bar was a little higher. So you see where the joint is there, this comes up a little more. And when I was test fitting this, it would come right up against the inside right here and was pressing on the body, and that's not realistic anyway. That bar needs to be tucked just under that lip of the door there. So what we're going to have to do is, and if I would have measured that first, I would have known, and I did not. But hey, we're modelers. These things happen, and we just adjust them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off right there where it'll be even like this side. See how that flows right in? We want that to do this here. So we're going to cut that off even with this roll bar, and then we'll take off. I'll measure on each of these bars, and then we'll take off just a touch to drop that down. Then we'll test fit it again, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine based on just where I'm eyeballing it right now. I think that's going to be right, but I am going to measure that. Also, if you recall, let me take this off. I was going to modify that firewall, but I just decided that just was not going to work. So we took sheet plastic and we cut us out a new one, and you see this gap right here, and I'll show you what that's for here in a minute. And then we trimmed everything up and got a nice fit there. Also, you'll see, let me add some stills right here. You see I use the pounce wheels, and if you do not have a set of pounce wheels, go to Micromark or a lot of your tool places, and you can probably find these. My local hobby shop, Mason's Hot Rods and Hobbies, carry those, and they do ship, so you could check with them. But I used the pounce wheels to make the rivet marks in the firewall, which again you can't see in this video, but there's a good picture of it. But that helps a little more realism there too. And you'll notice that there's a hole right here in the roll bar, or below this bar in the firewall, and you see where I rounded this platform off down here. And what that is for is I took and spun down an aluminum sump tank, and I'm not really through with it yet. I got to do some polishing on it and clean it up a little bit, and then I'll add the fitting lines and the cap up top side and all of that stuff. Got a little bit more cleaning up on this to do, but this sits right there, and where that hole is, I'm going to come out about 3 scale inches back into the cabin, and then over, and then close it back up to this roll bar here, and that way we'll have a place to mount the pedals and all that kind of stuff. But our sump tank in this car goes right up here. So, and I think, and by the way, this was nothing more than an old, and I mean a really old hobby knife handle. And I made a larger one for more of a cup series that just needs to be chucked in and spun down to the size too. But I figured while I was cutting one, I'd go ahead and cut 2. But this one's the smaller version for this particular car, and it's not much smaller. Next, you see in our original how these come straight out, and if you recall, we have that droop in the nose. So you see how we did that right at the vertical bar. We just dropped that down a little bit, and we've got our droop there, and then we added our bars up front. So she's looking pretty good, and I've got a little spot out here notched for the shock mounts, and I think it's coming along really nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build this box in, go ahead and make our modifications to this driver's side of the roll bars. And then the next thing we're going to do to wrap up this video anyway is going to be the hood. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this from Competition Resins. This is a 6-inch Outlaw cowl induction hood scoop, and we're going to make our cut in the hood, and we're going to sink this down in there and putty it up, and so it won't be quite that high. And also this ridge right here in the middle, that'll have to be removed because that wasn't on the real car either. But as you see, that's going to give it a nice raised look. And again, this is not going to be a 6-inch, probably going to be about 4.5 inch once we get that countersunk in there and puttied up. So we'll get that done. So I'm going to go ahead and get on this, and then we will take a look and we'll wrap this one up. And next time I think I'm going to go back and focus on the body work a little bit and get some primer on all of these goodies. So stick around. All right, guys, so we're back, and here, as you see, we've gotten everything straightened out here. We have this side, if you recall how much higher that was on the driver's side, we've got that squared away. You can see how much shorter these bars are here, but it tucks right up underneath the door panel there, and I'll show that to you in a minute. And we built our little housing for the sump tank, so I went ahead and attached this bar here, and I've got, when I get the vertical up here, then we'll go ahead and attach that one as well. But we have our little bay there for our sump tank, so that will be sitting, if I can get it to cooperate with me here, right in there. So that's done. Everything's just kind of drying right now. And moving over to these roll bars, what I was telling you about is originally these things were wanting to sit on that driver's side. They were sitting, if I can get them up there like they were, it was about even with the door, right about like that. And well, kinda, yeah, right about like that. And that just wasn't right up against that part. It needed to tuck down underneath the lip of the door there on both sides, and now it does. As you see there, it tucks right down. Well, there we go. Tucks right down there, and that looks so much better fit. Then onto the hood, as you see in these pictures, we had to do some measuring, and we set that cowl, measured it out, marked it, and then made our cuts. And here's a look at it. Now the super glue is seated around the resin all the way around. There'll be some putty where we're smoothing that out underneath and on the inside. But I think that turned out pretty darn good, guys. I think that's really sharp, and looks just like the one on the car. So we're looking good here. Got a little more puttying up through here to do, like I said, where the super glue is on the top and bottom. But overall, I think that's looking really good. And on the car, that's going to look really sharp. I'm trying to do this from behind the camera, and that's not easy. But see how that's going to line right up with the windshield. But looking good. So we're going to wrap this video up. So what I want to do is go ahead and get the putty on this, get it sanded out. I'll get some pictures of that, and then we'll get some primer and maybe a little bit of color on it. Not sure yet. We'll see. I'm going to do some body work, like I said, in the next one. I'm kind of holding off on those the engines, one to go in the car and one to display. But I want to surprise you with those, but I don't know. I may do that pretty quick too. I don't know. I will be putting pins right here and right here in the vertical where the bars come up all the way around. Sorry guys, I'm getting out of frame there. Here, 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 and here. That way that's going to, when the pins come up, we'll just be able to set that top part right down on it, and it'll mount and mate right up. It's going to be a guide there for it too. But overall, I'm very pleased with the way this stuff turned out. Got some bars that are going to have to come down from the top back here to this bracing back here, but I think we're looking pretty good, making a lot of headway. This seems to be the priority. I am going to have to take a couple of days off. I've got to change a head gasket on my main tractor, as well as while I got that apart, I'm going to go ahead and rebuild the carburetor too. It's been a long time since I've done a lot of that stuff. I just had to replace the starter on it, and I figured while I'm at it, I got a little bit of an oil leak. I'll go ahead and change that. So, got some stuff to take care of. It's summertime, so farm requires some work. But we'll be right back to this pretty quick, and I have a how-to that a number of people have been asking about that I need to knock out real quick too. So that's upcoming, and appreciate you watching this one, guys. Sorry this update's been so long in the coming, but hey, there we go. That's where we are right now, guys. God loves you. See you in the next video. Thanks.